Okay, the mechanics of the old frequency and how to defeat it, how to beat it. Now, first things first, you must understand that your old frequency is simply a being of blind intelligence that you have created. Okay, and it has 4 different traits. Okay, and these 4 different traits are what makes it the old frequency. Okay, the frequency that you don't want to be a part of, the identity that you don't want to have, the state of consciousness that you don't want to be in. Cool. First of all, your old frequency or your old identity. I'm just gonna say frequency, but you know what? I'm giving different labels because people apply different labels to the same thing: identity, state of consciousness, frequency, etc. Okay, cool. Your old frequency, the first trait of it is scared. Your old frequency it doesn't like the idea of it dying. It doesn't like the idea of it being beat. So whenever you do anything which isn't in accordance within your old which isn't in accordance within your old frequency is going to project negative emotions within you. This could be you doing something that could be seen as scary to you or risky to you. Let me think. Okay, cool. In the case of, I don't know, in the case of you wanting to get a goal, right? Your old frequency will put fear within you because I guess your new identity isn't a nigga that gets goals, or isn't a girl that gets guys or whatever. So that's one simple example. Next, after scared, your old frequency is also reactive, meaning that your old frequency literally projects reactions onto you so you can change your internal state. So it will bring things into your life or make you focus on things within your life that will make you reactive, that will make you react instead of responding. Your old frequency attempts to decrease your levels of awareness by projecting negative emotions within you. Like I said, the old frequency is scared, so it will project negative emotions onto you, because when the cortisol arises, when it increases, your levels of awareness start to decrease because you're hyper focused on whatever it is that is making you feel anxious or making you feel scared. Now, the next trait of your old frequency is that it is highly sadistic. Like I said, your old frequency loves negative emotions. It loves fear, guilt, anxiety. Fear, anxiety might be the same thing. Anger, hate, anger might be the same thing too, but you get what I mean. It loves negative emotions. So what it will do is it will make you hyper focus on things that are negative, or put negative experiences or circumstances within your life so you feel negative emotions. Now, this is not to demonize negative emotions or villainize negative emotions and say that you should never feel them, because a lot of people within the space will tell you do not feel negative emotions, only feel positive thinking, and I'm here to tell you that's bullshit. Okay, that is bullshit. All right, the only thing that really gives negative emotions power is the label you apply to the negative emotions. So the key here really is to just label it as energy, what it is: energy. Think about it this way: excitement and fear, you feel it within the same areas of your body, but because of the label that you've applied to it, because of the experience that has caused the emotional energy, you then label it as positive or negative, which gives it that positive or negative effect. Now, without going off on a tangent there, let's go back. So there's 3 that I've named. There's one more. 3 that I've named. Your old frequency is scared. Your old frequency is reactive, and your old frequency is also sadistic. The last one, so this isn't in order, by the way. This is just in order of priority. This is literally just the different features. There isn't really a priority. I guess in terms of importance and priority, you can put them all at the same level. The final one is needy. Your old frequency is an attention seeker. It will do anything to get you to focus on it. It will do anything to get you to focus on the negative things within your life. Like I said, your focus is key. Focus, emotions, and reactions. You're gonna see how I even talk about these later when I explain what a frequency is. But yeah, so these are the 4 features of your old frequency. Your old frequency is needy, scared, sadistic, and reactive. Okay, now after that, now let's dive into what frequency really is, what your frequency really is, the I guess the core concepts of your frequency, the 7 keys to someone's frequency, the 7 keys to someone's frequency, state of consciousness, identity. Okay, so the first key, again, when I'm listing these keys, I'm not listing them in order of priority or importance. In terms of priority or importance, they are all the same, and you're gonna kind of realize how or why later. Cool. So the first one is your focus. What do you place your attention towards? Do you place your attention towards all the poverty that's going on within the world, or do you place your attention towards all the abundance that is going on within the world, all the abundance that you can see within the world, all the poverty you can see within the world? Do you put your attention upon how terrible the dating market is, or do you put your attention upon how many good relationships there are out there? Because the truth is, a lot of the time, people will move like life and reality is objective. But the truth is that we all live on one planet, but within this one planet, there are 8 billion different worlds. And the reason why there are 8 billion different worlds is because there are 8 billion different perspectives. You get what I'm saying? Even though many of them may be very, very similar. Okay. So, like I said, your focus, what you place your attention towards, that is the first key. The second key is your beliefs. Your beliefs are simple. When I'm talking about your beliefs, it can get misconstrued, because when people talk about beliefs, people are usually talking about something that someone trusts within or trusts to do. Okay. And the reason why I don't like to use the phrase or attach that definition to belief is because when you trust something, you leave room for the possibility of doubt. You leave room for the possibility of another thing to happen, of another circumstance to occur. But when you know something, there is no room for the possibility of doubt. Because when you know something, sorry, I was just checking if I was recording it. I wasn't fully sure. Anyways, when you know something, there is no room for the possibility of doubt. That light switch behind me over there, I know that when I press it, it's going to turn on either that light or the light there, okay? Depending on which light switch I press. This water, I mean, there's not really any water in it now because I finished it, but that water that I drink, I've got 100% conviction that water is going to hydrate me to some sort of degree, which is why I'm drinking it. So this is what I mean when I'm talking about beliefs. When I'm talking about beliefs, I'm talking about what you know, what you deem as fact, and what you deem as the norm. An easy way for you to literally see or understand what your beliefs are is literally look at your life. That is simple. Look at your life and you will know what beliefs you have. If within your life, the dating market is arse, people are always cheating on other people, there's no good girls out there, or there's no good niggas out there, that is probably because it is a belief that you have. Not probably, that is definitely a belief that you have. Now, moving on. After your beliefs, you have your perception. Now, your perception is simple. Your perception is literally just a belief or idea that you have about the world. Okay? So, boom. Let's say your perception is cool. Let's say you view money as something that is difficult to come by. So, you perceive money as something that is very difficult to come across. There are no opportunities to get money, and therefore, in your life, that doesn't happen. You don't really get money anyways. That's, I guess, a simple use case example for perception. I like to always just, when it comes to examples, I do mix it up sometimes, but most of the time I'm just going to use money, because let's be real, the reason why most people want to learn how to, I guess, quote unquote manifest is to, most of the time, a lot of the time, is to make your life better. And how one way you can make your life better? Money. That's the truth of money. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat, I'm not gonna lie and say fucking I can't be asked to think of the bullshit they make up. Anyways, continuing on. After that, you have so I think I just swallowed something accidentally. After that, you have your expectations. How many have I mentioned? Sorry, I just need to remember. I mentioned focus, beliefs, perception, expectations. Is that 4? Right. Okay, cool. Yeah. Anyways, so expectations. Your expectations. Oh no, no, sorry. I missed one, but like I said, the order doesn't really matter. So I'm gonna continue with expectations. Expectations, literally what you expect out of life. Okay, it's like when you have a conversation with someone and they say something, you're like, oh, I knew you were gonna say that. Do you expect someone to just give you money out of nowhere? Do you expect a promotion to come out of nowhere? Do you expect for you to get that job when you apply for it? Or do you expect to get back that email where they say, sorry, we couldn't accept you, blah, 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 blah? Your expectations. It's another key of your frequency / state of consciousness / identity. Now, after your expectations, you have your conviction. Your conviction is simply, I guess, it kind of links into expectations, and all of these kind of link in. You'll kind of see it later. But your conviction is literally just what you are convicted in. It's just literally just what you know, what you deem that you know, and it's just also like what you expect. Basically, your conviction can be. Sorry, it is your trust in your expectations. That's the best way to explain it. It is your trust, self-trust in your expectations, because the more self-trust you build, the more conviction you're able to tap into. And how you tap into conviction is by expecting things to happen, and then they happen. And how you, I guess, develop enough self-trust to trust your expectations is by treating your word as law, doing things that you know you should be doing, etc. Okay. Next, after your conviction, also your conviction is also things that you have experienced before in life and what is normal to you, also what you've experienced before in life. Okay. Now, after your conviction, you have your reactions. Your reactions, I've literally talked about this before when I was talking about your old frequency early on in the video. If you weren't listening and you didn't clock that I said that, go back and make sure you're taking notes. Anyway, your reactions, what you react to. Whatever you react to literally determines your internal state. So think about it this way. Say, okay, whenever something occurs in your life, you're going to want to ask yourself, how would my desired self see this? What perspective would they have upon this? What would they focus on within this? And then it's just simple, you just go from there, really. Now, finally, after your reactions, you have your emotionally charged thoughts. I believe that is all the 7 keys covered. But yeah, your emotionally charged thoughts are simply the thoughts that you think that have the most emotional conviction. This is why positive thinking is bullshit, because a lot of the time people will tell you don't feel negative emotions, only feel positive emotions, and they'll tell you to somehow avoid the adversity that life gives you. My nigga, fucking life is like life has a rhythm, okay? And imagine, like, with this rhythm, yeah, there's 2 poles, okay? And life constantly shifts from shit, chaos, adversity, whatever, to peace, harmony, love and life, okay? Life constantly shifts from one pole to the other. It constantly swings from one side to the other. The pendulum is always swinging. Now, the reason why, I guess we dive into these topics and, learn and understand how to practically use our subconscious mind is so that we can but we can stay at one point for as long as possible, for as much as possible, and stay at the undesired point for as least as possible. I don't know if that makes sense. Okay, let's just say we can mitigate staying at the other side as much as possible. Anyways, at the underside side as much as possible. Now, moving on. Before I continue and explain, the techniques we're going to use, blah, 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 and why we're doing all of this, I'm going to tell you what manifestation really is. I do all the time in my videos, just to remind, my people thems, because a lot of the time people think manifestation is changing your reality. It is changing your life. It's all about, a lot of the time, when people think about manifestation, it's all about the external. But the truth is, manifestation is internally shifting to a degree where you are no longer emotionally dependent upon seeing your reality change, upon seeing the external change, and you prioritize the internal over the external. This does not mean that you do not take action, by the way. It does not mean that you take action. It's a bit of a paradox, really. But if you understand it, it shouldn't be a paradox. Anyway, actually, no, it still kind of is. Anyway, moving on. Actually, no, if you understand it, it shouldn't really be a paradox. Now that I think about it, it shouldn't really be. Anyways, moving on. Like I said, your old frequency has 4 different features. I already told you the features. I'm not going to say it again, because if you didn't know, or if you weren't, sorry, not if you didn't know, but if you weren't watching properly and you skipped ahead, go back, take some notes. Now, it's got 4 different features, right? I talked about it being reactive, sadistic, scared, needy. Now, within needy, what did I say it does? I said it will make you focus on negative things. It will make you focus on it. What is one of the 7 keys of frequency? Focus. Cool. Now, within sadistic, I said it will do anything to make sure you're feeling negative emotions. Now, what did I say before about the 7 keys? Emotionally charged thoughts. Scared. Being scared is going to what? Decrease your awareness. Which is going to what? Alter your perception. Your perception links in with your beliefs. Your perception links in with your expectations. Are you kind of seeing how everything kind of links together? I'm just trying to see if I've covered, if I've linked all of the different features to, I think I have. Anyways, yeah. Are you seeing how it's linking it? Anyways, moving on onto the practical stuff and how we can actually shift into the frequency / identity / state of consciousness that we want to be in. It is as simple as increasing your conviction, increasing that energetic ceiling that you have created for yourself based upon the norms that are in your life already, or the beliefs that you already have. And there are 2 ways to increase the energetic ceiling that is stopping you from reaching your goal. Whether that goal was to find a good partner, or make this amount a month, or start to weigh this much, or start to be this strong in the gym, or get this promotion, or get this job. Sorry, I lost my train of thought because I was thinking of so many different examples. Anyways, like I said, there are 2 ways. The first way is to, and the way I like to go about it is to utilize the fact that your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between imagination and reality. And how you can do that is by creating a deeply imaginative scene while in a relaxed state, because you want your brain to be in a theta state while you do this, because that is when the gates to your subconscious mind is open. But while in a relaxed state, you want to create an imaginative scene which, I guess, promotes or perpetuates the idea or the fact that you have already achieved what it is that you want, or you have already become the person it is that you want to become. Now, this is also coupled with creating a energetic shield around yourself by injecting a single conscious thought within your mind as you go about your day, as you do just things you can do while you're in flow, such as washing dishes, taking a shower, cleaning the house, doing laundry. Now, the second way you can do it, I guess the way most people do it, is by simply breaking down this goal into something that you believe is manageable, something you believe is achievable. Okay, cool. Say you want to make 10,000 a month, you're currently on 5,000. Like I said, I say this all the time. I like to use monthly goals for the sake of simplicity when, using examples. Instead of saying, okay, I want to make 10k a month now that I've hit 5k, you're going to be like, okay, cool, I've hit 5k. Let me try 500 5,500k, or I guess if that's too large of a difference for you, 5,100k, not 100k. Fucking hell, 5,500. Yo, not gee, sorry, that is a drastic change. Sorry about that. Anyways, let's say you want to try 5,100 or 5,200 or 5,500, whatever you can say, and it doesn't feel like you're lying to yourself. This is something that is impersonal to you, because being completely real with you here, only you know what you think you can achieve, and there's no point lying to yourself because you know when you're lying. So just tell yourself something manageable that you can achieve, and strive towards that goal. Or you can couple them both up, but it might be difficult. Actually, I don't think it will be. Actually, no, not all. Sorry, you can couple them both up where you generate an intense emotional experience where you have achieved that goal, which is manageable to you, which is believable to you. The reason why I said it might be difficult is because if it's something you can easily conceptualize achieving, you may not feel a great, I guess, you may not feel an intense level of emotion. But then again, it really doesn't matter whether the level of emotion you feel is intense or not. And it doesn't matter what emotion you feel either. As long as the emotion you feel is something that you would genuinely feel if you had achieved that. Because when I tell people to generate an imaginative scene which creates a deep, why do I keep using the word deep? A intense level of emotion, they're thinking that the emotion has to be euphoria, being extremely happy. But the truth is, achieving certain things represent something different to different people. For example, I know one person who, when they achieve their goals, they feel a sense of relief. There could be another person who, when he achieves his goals, he feels a sense of euphoria. There could be another person who, when they achieve their goals, they feel a sense of like extreme joy to the point where they're crying, or they couldn't believe that they've done it, so they're crying, I guess, like tears of joy. Like I said, it's different for everyone. And another person who feels completely calm when it happens. It's different for every single person. Okay, and you just have to understand what it represents to you, so you can understand what type of emotions you should actually feel upon achieving this goal, upon creating this imaginative scene. Quick, is it TLDA? I don't know if that's the right phrase, right term. Anyways, just quick extra information in regards to the imaginative scene. When creating the imaginative scene, you want to utilize the 5 physical senses. You don't have to utilize all of them. It's calm as long as you utilize 2. You're going to be utilizing sight, obviously, because you need to see things to create an imaginative scene. Anyways, you're going to be using sight, hearing, touch, taste, if you can. I don't know how you would do that. I guess I don't know. Touch would probably be better. Anyways, just using as many of the physical senses that you can, or a physical sense which is the most prominent to you, which is the sorry about that, which is the main way you intake information, you intake experiences, and you learn from them and you understand them. Okay, yeah, so while you do this, you're going to also do some some analysis of the inner work. You're going to, as you're going about your day, and you're in that energetic shield that you've created that I talked about earlier, where you're consciously injecting that thought in your head, you're going to journal. What I mean by journal is you're going to ask yourself, cool, and don't lie to yourself, because like I said, lying to yourself is pointless in this game, because only you can know the truth. And if you know the truth and you're lying to yourself, you know that you're not really going to get anywhere. So cool, write down what your focus was today. Write down what your perception was like. Write down what your expectations were like. Write down what your conviction was like. Write down what your emotionally charged thoughts were. Okay, and try and shift each one towards what they would be if you had become the person that you want to become, or if you have achieved what it is that you want to achieve, or if you have what it is that you want. And to be honest, that is pretty much it. Oh no, one more thing. When the pendulum swings, like I said, adversity will always strike, and this is even more about negative emotions and why you should not fall for the positive thinking bullshit, because in life adversity is always going to hit you. Okay. When it does hit you, whatever is causing that adversity, put it in your mind, all right, or look at it. Okay, whether it's a low bank balance, whether it's someone, a family member being rude to you, your partner being rude to you, or someone being your manager being rude to you, and you want that person to start being nice, or that person to start treating you nice, or for you to start getting promotions, or etc, etc, etc. Okay, what you're going to do is, because looking at it might actually kind of be difficult and weird, in the case of it being a person, what you're going to do is put that image of, obviously, that memory in your mind. Whether it was that person shouting at you, or whether it was that bank balance being low, put it in your mind. Or if you want, because it's a bank balance and it's on your phone, you can just stare at the bank balance. And what you're going to do is you're going to keep doing that until you no longer feel the negative emotion that accompanies the experience that you had, until you reach a point of neutrality. Because once you reach that point of neutrality, you can then shift from that point of neutrality to a point of positivity. And what I mean by this is you can go from, it is easier for you to go from 0 to 50 and then 50 to 100 from you to go, rather than instead of you going from straight from 0 to 100. Cool. And how you can shift to that positive state is, there are two ways you can do it. First way, you can simply just imagine a scene. Abuse the fact that your subconscious mind cannot differentiate between imagination and reality, and imagine a scene, or imagine that memory in the way that you want it to go, or imagine that bank balance but in the way that you want it to be. Or you can simply, if that seems unrealistic to you, you can simply just shift your focus, shift your perspective. In the case of a low bank balance, you can look at your transactions and money coming in and going out and saying, the money has risen before, all right? Because it has fallen doesn't really mean much. This is only proof that I have been at a higher point. The balance has been at a higher point. Cool. Now, in the case of the person, you can imagine or just think about all of the positive things that person has done to you. Whether it's the first time you met them and they were extremely nice to you, or whether it is gifts that they've bought for you. It's as simple as shifting your focus or shifting the scene entirely or thing entirely. And that is really all it is. Because like I said, your old frequency feeds off of that negativity. It feeds off of that scarcity, that hate, that fear. It's a sadist. It's sadistic. And it loves it when you hate the fact that you feel terrible. It loves it when you hate the fact that you feel negative emotions, which is why what I'm saying is not positive thinking. What I'm saying is understanding that emotions aren't bad or good. They are simply emotions. Emotions just are. It is simply emotional energy, which is just being changed based upon the label you give it, dependent upon the circumstance that has caused the emotion to be generated. Because like I said before, excitement and fear, you feel that in similar areas in your body. And the reason why is because it is the same emotional energy, but because what has generated the emotional energy is negative or positive, the circumstance that has caused the positive or negative, because of the circumstance that has caused the emotional energy, you have applied the labels of positive or negative towards the emotional energy. So the key is to fully feel the emotional energy until it is not there anymore, and then feel said emotional energy that you desire to feel. And then feel said emotional label that you apply to the emotional energy that you want to feel. And that is really it for today's video. Thank you guys for fully taking this in, and I hope you've been taking notes. If you haven't, rewatch the video again and take notes, and I will see you next week. Goodbye.